Morning guys, Sifu Scott Tarbell here, Wuxia Martial Arts. All right, today we're going to be taking a look at Wing Tsun strategies for range 3 in clinch, which is elbows and knees, and lifting punches and these things, sometimes shoulder strike. We looked at part 1 and part 2 previously in the last couple of weeks, where we talked about how we can use some of the hacking elbows. We talked about how we could use the lifting punch in conjunction with a neck pulling hand and use the hacking elbow in conjunction with the neck pulling hand. So anytime that you're clinching someone, it's always good that you can get a hold of their head and you can start to work like in tight with a lot of these things. Now, we've mainly focused on just the upper body, talking about elbows, talking about lifting punches in all different ways. Last week, for part 2, we talked about when we're going forward to chain punch, that if the guy slipped his head to the outside, how we could like pull in and hit, or if he had slipped to the other side, the outside of my arm, how we could pull and how we could hit. So we talked about using the hacking elbow and then this reverse hacking. So you guys can reference those in your emails. They're on a list of videos, so you won't be able to find them on YouTube. They're only for paying customers, and we thank you for your continued support financially to help this fine institution to stay open. We're doing the best we can, so every little bit helps, and I hope these videos help. So without further ado, let's get started. So this week, what we're taking a look at is how do we use the lower body, how do we use the knees? And in Wing Tsun, the knees come in a variety of ways. They are starting points for your kicks. So basically, whatever kick you can do, like if I'm going to do the front thrust kick this way, the starting point is actually the knee coming up. If I'm going to do the side thrusting kick, right, coming up this way, right, to kick low, the knee coming up is the starting point. If I'm doing the turning kick at the end of Chun Q, where we go here, and then we step and we do this thing, the starting point for that knee would be here. So the nice thing about Wing Tsun is what we think about is every kick is a step, right? But that's the end of it, right? So that meant we had full extension and then we were finishing the movement with the step. The beginning point of every kick is going to be the chamber. The chamber is the knee. So if you were in kicking range, say, and I was going to do maybe like 2 kicks, right? I start with this one, and I want to like chase this guy down and do another kick. Maybe the first one's just measuring distance, and once I have that, then I'm gonna like really use the power kick off the back leg this way, boom, here. But as I'm doing that, sometimes the guy may rush in as I'm coming up to do the second kick. So in that moment, you have to make the adjustment, or worst case, he just comes in and he ends up taking the knee, right? And then we can follow up with hands or whatever. So a good way to begin is we just go from character 2, right? I got my Mansalos out, but I make them fists, right? So from here I shift, I do the front thrust kick, and now I throw the knee in afterwards. So we go from a long range into a short range, simply because this guy is closing the distance on me. This isn't something that I would do if I was chasing somebody down, because you don't go from long range into short range when you're chasing. It's only when the distance has been contracted, not expanded. So from here, all right, front thrust kick, and now, boom. Now you can switch your hands, you don't have to, it's whatever's comfortable. So I could go here and just knee, all right? Or I could go here and punch a knee at the same time. It's really your choice. All right, let's take a look at that from the side. So from here, right, front thrust kick, and now from here, the knee is coming in. And now you notice when I do it, right, I kind of put my hips into it a little bit, because when I'm here, if I was going to kick, I'd really kick with some power. This way, I would kind of put my hip into it a little bit, like this, yeah? So from here, kick, and knee, right? Kick, and knee. And the nice thing is you want to try to get your knee pointed, right? Pulling the heel to your butt, right? And then really trying to get that thing pointy and sharp like a spear, so that when it hits, a common misconception that people have about the Wing Tsun knee is that when they throw it, when they clinch up, they think the knee is coming up like the can-can dance, you know, like you're coming up and doing this thing. But the reality is it's much like the lifting punch, right? When you do the lifting punch, it goes forward on this trajectory. The lifting punch is not like an uppercut, right, where it's straight up this way, right? It's forward a little bit like that, because we're trying to strike into the throat. right, from here, striking into the throat. And your knee is very, very similar as well. If I get hold of this guy, or if I'm coming in for like a body shot with this, and I come in with the body shot, I can't have the knee going straight up vertical because it's just going to slide up his body this way. Unless he's coming in for the grapple or something, like I said, the full Wing Chun, it's always good. You can try to like control the guy with your hands and your stance and posture as opposed to trying to time a well-placed knee. That's really advanced stuff because it's either hit or miss. Either you get it and you knock the guy out, or you're on one leg and he takes you down. So I don't recommend that. But nonetheless, think about your knee when you do this, is steering forward and in, all right? So that you're not like going straight up and down and you miss the target. All right, so drill number one for you guys to practice is to go from here, front thrust kick, and knee. All right, and you can train it with that knee steering forward. So 1, 2, and try to really get your knee up high, all right? 1, 1. So you can see when I'm doing it, I'm aiming kind of like liver and spleen area, right? There's no need to try to get up on your toes. Like I said, when a lot of styles, they'll knee and they'll try to come up on the toe and everything because they're trying to like get the head knocked out. But for Wing Chun, we're kind of lazy rebels, you know. Our goal is self-defense. Our goal is never like to go in and be a ring fighter. Our goal is somebody messes with you on the street, and you're going to use your Wing Chun to defend yourself, your family, and get out of that situation as quickly as possible. So yeah, nice body shots. Those things are just as powerful, and we're following up with hands and elbows and everything. So it doesn't have to be high. You don't want to be uprooted when you're doing these things. So we go here, 1, and you see this is going in. And when I do that knee, I lean back just a little bit, right, which comes from student grade 5, the 1-1-U. Right, it's like our slipping, and the guy throws like maybe, you know, an overhand, or like he comes in, clinches and throws a heavy elbow, and I go, whoa, like that. I kind of get this emergency bending at the waist, like that. So drill number 1, right, front thrust kick, and knee. Right, so that's one drill to practice. Now, the next drill that we can practice from here, right, is I go like this, all right, and we're going to talk about actually clinching now, right, and using the knees a little bit. You know, so from here, I start with 1 foot forward, and the same hand forward, like this, right, and I front thrust kick, and now as I'm punching in, I'm going to go forward. Remember, maybe he slips like that, so I clinch 1, and then I clinch 2. Now, this is very important. Just like in the Sifu when we do a Wuxia, right? When I clinch the guy's head, I never want to clinch his neck because the neck is quite strong, right? And people can just stand up. So you always want to use the leverage. You want to target the crown of the head and pinching it down. Yeah, so the leverage is against them. And when I do this, right, I try to have my middle knuckle, right, inside of the middle of my palm, like this, right? And then I make 2 Wuxias, and I clinch up my elbows together. And when I do this, you can see that the shape inside the space in between, the empty space, kind of makes like the shape of a kite, right? You see that? Kind of makes the shape of a kite, right? So I'm here, and this is one of the reasons that we keep the elbow in. Of course, later you do chisao, but also when you clinch, you want to be able to, you know, squeeze the sides of his neck, so it's not easy for him to get out, right? If you have a loose clinch and you're just kind of here, there's no reason the guy can't just shove your arms off, or he can just circle out and he can hit you, right? So when I clinch up, I want to be able to keep these elbows in like that, and the middle knuckle goes into the palm, and it doesn't matter which one you do, all right? Typically, if I'm punching forward and he slips, that's going to be the one that grabs first, and then this one comes over. Now, when I do it, I don't circle around real big either, right? You only have a moment here to clinch this guy before he tries to escape and get out of the way. All right, so when I go here, it's 1, and like the chin style, it goes forward, all right, because when I'm going here, if he tries to slip to the side, then he catches this thing from the chin cue, all right? So from here, all right, I go 1 foot forward, all right, kick, a couple chain punches, I reach out, pull in with the neck pulling hand, go forward with the chin style, and I clinch. Just like this. And you see the elbows squeezed together, nothing too big. Right? It should be about maybe 1 fist between your elbows, yeah? Right, so again, right foot forward, kick, chain punch, I go forward with the neck pulling hand, I pull in, Chun Sao, and then I clinch up like this, okay? One more time. Right foot forward, front thrust kick, chain punching, I go forward, I clinch, go forward, I clinch, just like that. Okay, let's take a look at that from the side. So my right foot is forward, you see my weight is on the back leg, I kick, I chain punch forward, I go out, right? Neck pulling hand comes into the Wuxia position, Chun Sao, and I keep this nice and squeezed. So I end up in that position at the end, that kite position here. Right? So again, right foot forward, I kick, I chain punch, neck pulling hand comes in, Chun Sao goes out, and then I pull this in nice and tight. Okay, now one thing I don't want you to think about doing is when I'm here, a lot of people want to like pull it right into their chest and cradle this guy against their chest. That's not what you want to do. I mean, this is a weird world. He might bite you, you don't know what's going on, right? So when I do this, I'm trying to keep them out like that. And there is a little bit of space, okay, from here. So when you train it, and obviously the human head, it's quite round in circumference. So you're not going to be able to like pull this right to your chest this way. So be realistic in your training, right? Here should be about here, about maybe a hand and a half away from your chest. Okay. So when you do this, don't pull the guy out, just like this. Okay, so now once we got that, all right, we go back and we think, all right, in the beginning, we had from character 2, and we went front thrust kick, and then we went knee, all right, but now we can just kind of go from 1 foot forward, all right, so from here, I put the left foot forward, drill number 3. Now I kick off the front foot, boom, right, I chain punch, and I knee, and now I go forward, 1, 2, and I'm gonna lift here, and this comes in. Now when I do this, I pull my hips back a little bit, and you see there's a little wave that happens here. I go this way, all right? Now I don't need to get my knee up in between my arms, right, because that's a little bit too high, right? But from here, I pull, pull, and then I spear that thing in. All right, so left foot is forward, all right? I front thrust kick, couple chain punches, all right, now I reach out. You see the reach is opposite, right? Could be same side, it doesn't matter, right? I grab, and now from here, I pull. All right, so you can play around with this a few ways. If you wanted to go front thrust kick, boom, 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 and you want a knee, and then you want to grab, and then knee again, you can, all right? Or if you want to go right from the kick, right, grab, and pull into the knee, you can as well. So I'd say you can take the third option and have 2 variations. The first one is the long distance one, right? So I'm covering a little distance, I kick, I start to chain punch, and then this guy rushes into me, right? I knee, and then I step in, boom, boom, and then I knee again off the front leg. All right, option 2. So I go here, kick, boom, 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 grab, and I pull in. So as I'm punching, I just grab and pull in, because maybe he really rushes in and closes the space, right? Or I can just get a hold of him a little bit faster. So, all right, step 3, option 1. I kick, I go forward, all right, I knee, I go forward, I grab, and then I knee, just like this, all right? And when you pull in, elbows will go out a little bit, that's okay, just don't let them go all the way up. Option 2, all right, I kick, I go forward, and right away I grab, and I knee, all right? So the difference here is on option 1, right? I'm here, and I knee, and now, when I do that, the kneeing leg is already forward. You see that? When I do this, the kneeing leg is already forward. But option 2, right? Step 3, option 2, is when I kick, and I go here, right? Like this, boom, grab, boom. So you got 2 ways to think about it, right? They both start front thrust kick, right? I'm here, he rushed in, I hit him with the body shot, and then I clinch him, and then I go in. So option 1 has 2 knees. Option 2, right? Boom. From there, pop, 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 pop. I grab opposite to my body, and I just come in with this right away. Right, so again, kick, pop, 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 pop. Here, grab, take a look at that from the side. So left foot is forward, I kick, now I body shot, I land, I clinch, and then I come in with the knee. So step 3, option 1. One more time. Kick, boom, I go to kick, I land the knee, I grab, and I come in. Step 3, option 2, the short one. I come here, and I grab right away, and I come in. One more time. Here, kick, I grab right away, and I come in. So really, it's indicative upon what your partner does, right? So when I'm there, and I kick forward, and I start to go forward, if he rushes in while I'm in mid-kick, or I see him coming in, but his head's kind of like too far away, maybe he's long, right? But his body is open, then it's quite easy to bridge and knee, right? If he's rushing in, and he gets hit. Option 2 is that he comes in, right? He closes the space, but I am able to grab, and then once I'm there, we just knee right away. All right, so think about those three different steps that you can practice using the knee. And for today, in Clinch Series Part 3, right, we only talk about the knee going forward this way, right? So next time we talk about different options, like the knee coming in like the bomberg, right, before we do the side kick, and then later we'll talk about this knee. How is this knee set up? Okay, so, all right, work on that material. Sifu Tarbell, Wuxia Martial Arts. Weekend, guys.